And I came up with a player that doesn't really get a lot of love in the hobby or in general.
Down goes Anderson! Down goes Anderson!
Welcome to another episode of Goat Collecting. We have a very special guest tonight, Jason, everyday card collector. He has a very special and unique player collection. So, Jason, I'll turn it over to you to introduce them.
Awesome. Thanks, Kyle. First and foremost, thanks for having me on, my friend. I appreciate it. I'm unique and diverse, I guess is what I'd say. I have a pretty broad range of collecting. So I collect everything from modern to pre-war. And for those who don't follow my channel, I've been really focused on the pre-war as of late.
Good man.
But that being said, I'm a White Sox fan. So you and I were discussing, this particular episode, and was a very, very good player. Very, very good. Not Hall of Fame worthy, but was pretty strong. And I thought it'd be fun to kind of do somebody a little bit different. Talk about this particular player. Most of his career was spent with my White Sox, so I figured that would be fun for me to kind of grab what I have for him and show that off a little bit.
Awesome. Now, who is that special player?
So the player is Sherm Lollar, actually John Sherman Lollar. He was the catcher for the White Sox for about 12 years. So he played for 18 seasons, came up in 46 with Cleveland one year, and then went to the Yankees after that for 2 years. So from 47 to 48, he was with the Yankees, got a World Series ring in 47, although he was primarily a backup role at that point in time. Then in 49, he went to the St. Louis Browns and played for them till 51. And then after that, 52, he went to the White Sox and finished his career till 63, I believe. So 12 years of his 18 years were with the White Sox. One of the most prominent White Sox teams in the history of the franchise is the 59 Go-Go Sox. They got to the World Series. Obviously, they lost to the Dodgers, but they got there. And then shortly thereafter, 40-some years later, they won the World Series in 05. 45 years later, took that long. So
I don't want to hear anything. I'm a Cleveland fan. I've been waiting since 48, okay?
Right. Well, up until that point, we had gotten there. I don't think we had won it since, the Cubs and the White Sox for a long period of my lifetime were the two longest, and obviously the Red Sox. But it was painful. And 05 came out of nowhere for a White Sox fan, so that was kind of special. But
that was a great team.
It was a lot of fun to watch those guys. But, so Sherm Lollar, when you think of the Go-Go Sox, you don't necessarily think of Sherm, but you did have Hall of Famers Nellie Fox and Louis Aparicio on that team. A lot of people mix it up. Minnie Minoso was not on the Go-Go Sox when they were in the World Series. I believe he got traded mid-season to Cleveland. So he went to Cleveland.
Yep.
And then the following year in 60, came back to Chicago, I think. 60 or 61, I think. I know he did 60. A short 60, right? Yeah. And then he did a short stint with St. Louis in like 62 and then came back to Chicago, and he bounced around. But I know that Cleveland and Chicago at that point in time, we can kind of tie our teams together, were swapping players back and forth. And I think a lot of that had to do with Bill Veeck.
Yep.
So Bill Veeck at the time was the owner, correct, of the Cleveland Indians.
Mm-hmm.
And then shortly after that, his next job was the owner of the White Sox in the early 70s for some time. So there's a big tie for Cleveland and Chicago White Sox, and it all has to do with the Veeck family, particularly Bill Veeck.
I forgot 48 Veeck.
Oh, you had one?
Yeah, I didn't even think about that connection. I should have brought that one up.
I just swing it in a different direction. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
But yeah, so Sherm Lollar, a catcher. I'll rattle off some of his stats I wrote down. Career WAR of 30.1, so not fantastic, but not horrible. 155 home runs over his career and a 264 batting average with 1,415 hits. So not, catchers back then aren't really known for their massive offensive production. So it was steady. It was good. I think he was known more for his glove and his defense. He won the Gold Glove 3 years in a row. When they first started handing it out, I believe it was 58. Might have been 58 or 57 was the first year of the Gold Gloves.
Okay.
And he won it 3 years, the first 3 years that a catcher could win the Gold Glove for the American League. So solid defensively, just a solid player. Was the backstop for some great pitchers that you just rattled off. Wilhelm at one point in time, Early Wynn at one point in time. So Hall of Fame pitchers, Satchel Paige. Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit too, right? So, some fun. I mean, the Hall of Famers he played with, that's a great idea. You can kind of show some of those Hall of Famers that he played with. It's phenomenal.
Yep.
It really is. So I don't know if you wanted to start showing cards or should I just start I'll rattle off a couple out the shoot here.
I'll tie in what you were just talking about with the cards I brought up. Perfect. I was unfamiliar with Sherm Lollar. Being from Cleveland, he was only here for a year. The bulk of his career was in Chicago. Wasn't a Hall of Famer. I collect Hall of Famers for the most part. So my knowledge my knowledge wasn't there, and so I was trying to think about how I could participate by showing cards in this episode, and I figured I'd go with some of his teammates. So as Jason talked about, he came up with Cleveland, or started with Cleveland in '46. I think he was acquired from Baltimore. Never played in a major league game for Baltimore, but was acquired by Cleveland from Baltimore, and made his debut in '46, where he backed up Jim Hegan.
Great card. I love that.
Yeah, it's a 48 leaf. Yep. So. And Jim is pretty. The Hegan family is pretty synonymous with Cleveland. Then he was a teammate of Gene Woodling. This is from Gene's second stint with Cleveland. Gene is from Akron, Ohio, which is where I'm from, and he played against my grandpa and great uncle in 1940 in the minor league. So
that is so cool.
Cool connection. And then, of course, he played with Bob Feller.
So we were talking Hall of Fame pitchers. That's the first one out to shoot. So.
Yep, and when you're talking catchers, the pitchers they catch are really, unless they're a Hall of Famer themselves, that's their claim to fame.
Yep.
So that was his time with Cleveland, and then he went to New York. As Jason mentioned, he was teammates with Phil Rizzuto.
Yeah, a litany of Hall of Famers in 47 and 48. And correct me if I'm wrong, the Yankees won the World Series in 47. So
I believe that's correct.
Yeah, so he got his ring, and Sherm got his ring as a backup catcher.
Yep. Joe DiMaggio.
Love that. I'm very high on that set right now, Kyle. The 46, 39 to 46 salutations.
Yep.
Love it.
And then, of course, you just mentioned who he backed up, Mr. Yogi Berra. Yep. So that was his claim to fame in New York. And then he went to St. Louis, where he played with the great Satchel Paige.
Yes, sir. Awesome image.
I'm so happy I grabbed this when I did.
Yeah, trust me. I wish I would have grabbed one a while
ago. And then, as Jason also just mentioned, when he went to Chicago, he played with Minnie Minoso.
Yep. And I love that because that's Minnie's 59 card, but he's not with the Sox. He was with Cleveland. So, he wasn't one part of that World Series team that ended up losing.
Yep. Minnie Minoso, and then Early Wynn.
Nice. Is that a 62 post?
That is correct.
Yeah, 62 or 63. That might be 62. I can't
63, sorry.
63, yeah. Okay.
Yep. And then White Wilhelm. For me, I think
Love
it
the
was
grip
showing.
and he was catching Hoyt, who was throwing the junk, and
Yep.
it wasn't like it's not the easiest pitcher to catch it, to be a backstop for. So that's cool.
Nellie Fox,
I'm loving that.
George Kell. I don't have him in a White Sox. And then last one, Louis Aparicio.
Yes. Yeah, and Cal was with the Sox for 2 years, I think. I'm riffing now. I think 2 years. I know 56. So. 56 he was. I think he was in 56.
Yep.
And it might have only been 1 year, because 57 he was with the Orioles then, if I'm not mistaken.
So I don't believe. Let's see, 57. Yes, because 57. His last card's 58, but he never actually played in 58.
Right.
So it would have been 57 with the Orioles.
Yeah, so I might have been maybe he was there 55, 56. I don't remember if Cal got there in 55 or not.
Got it. So, but yeah, that was my card participation for this episode. So, and then Jason has all the actual Sherm Lollar cards. So
yeah, so the consensus, the hobby consensus of what a rookie card is. This is his consensus rookie card, which is his 1950 Bowman, and he's already with St. Louis Browns at that point in time. So, taking this back to not only learning about the player, but collecting and doing what we love to do, which is collect baseball cards. If you start to gravitate towards players that aren't necessarily Hall of Famers, you can get them at just ridiculous bargains, right? So I love collecting Sherm Lollar because of the history with the White Sox, and it was intriguing to me, so I learned about him. But we're talking about, his rookie card here, which is a phenomenal set, being 50 Bowman, and it might have been like $13 I paid for this. So,
yep.
Here he is now. This is a little well-loved one, but there's this 52 Topps, and I think it was under $10. There's a crease in it and all that good stuff, but just a beautiful card.
That's the horizontal. I'm not a big horizontal fan.
Okay.
I prefer 54 to 55. It's pretty much the same card, but
right.
Orientation changed. For that reason, I like the vertical. The 52 horizontals, though, are some of the nicest cards ever made, in my opinion.
Johnny Mize is a great one. That's another guy. Red Shandings, I think, is horizontal, right?
Yep.
Yeah. There's some good ones. There definitely is.
So Sherm Lollar is in great company there as a horizontal card.
This next one I've shown on the channel several times. It's probably my favorite card of his, and it's the 53. I love the 53 set. This card I bought, it cracks me up. I bought this at the Chicago Sports Spectacular. I had purchased a couple cards, didn't have much money left. I think I spent $25 on this. Graded Sherm Lollar. I mean, I'm not a high number guy. It's a 4, so whatever. That doesn't mean anything to me, but beautiful card, $25. So
a 4 would be competitive in Showcase Showdown.
Yeah, nice. Right? Exactly. I'd never be competitive on that show. I would lose, what do I get for having ungraded cards?
Yeah.
That'd be my problem. And then I love, you had just mentioned this set, 54.
Yep. Love that set.
Yeah, I love the red. Great thing about this is, I have done on my channel, post-playing days cards and heritage and cards like that. I actually have a post-playing days representing the 54, right? So I have the actual 54, and then I've got, a post-playing days that's, kind of the faux 54. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's fun stuff. And then you and I have a mutual friend, Blue Collar Cards, Trevor.
Mm-hmm.
We had him on Cardboard and Cold Ones on Sammy Thunder's channel. And he sent me a gift, and it's just crazy how nice this community is. He sent me the 55 Bowman Sherm Lollar in an SGC 7. This is like the highest graded card I have that's vintage. I told him, I said, that is the highest graded card I own now. It's just a beautiful example of a tough set, right?
Yes.
I mean, the wood grain and all that stuff, we all know it's chipping and all that fun stuff, but just a beautiful, beautiful card. So shout out to our guy, Trevor. But, phenomenal player. We went over most of his stats. He was born in 1924, August of 1924. He passed away. He was only 51 or 52 years old. He passed away in September of 77. So he wasn't, tremendously old. He was born in Durham, Arizona, but moved to Fayetteville, Arkansas as a young child.
Yep.
Ended up going to college at Pittsburgh State University in Kansas. And I had to do a double take on that when I was doing my research. I'm like, wait, what? But so all of our Kansas friends out there, like Mike Jayhawker and all the Kansas crew, you had one with Sherm Lollar, at least for college. So, and then shortly after that, as you had mentioned, started out with the Orioles organization and then quickly went to Cleveland, or shortly after that went to Cleveland. So,
yep. Bill Beck acquired him.
Yeah, exactly right. Just a steady, solid catcher. 18-year career that's solid in any. I don't care what position you're playing, but particularly catcher. If you're 18 years in the majors, that's a big deal. And most of those years were pretty fluent and prominent. His early years with the Yankees, he was a backup, but by the time he got to the Browns in '49, he was pretty solid from that till the end of his career in '63. So,
when I was reading about him, they said that he might be the most underrated catcher of the 50s.
Yeah, and I've got another buddy, and I'm sure you know him, Drew. Clean Cheap Shots does a lot. He's a very educational channel, and does a lot of research. And he's done some research on Sherm, and he's like, "You need to do a Sherm video." Well, now I have. I've just done it on your channel, Kyle. So I'll tell Drew. I'll text him. Go watch Kyle's channel. So
that is awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I got a few more. I've got his 57. And what's better than 157 but 257s? This one's got a little writing on it. Someone wrote on his shoulder. I can't make out. It looks like they were trying to put a number down, like the number 5.
Yeah, it's 5. So, was he number 5?
So, you know what? That's the funny thing. I didn't research. I'm like, I got to research this before I jump on, and I didn't. So look up what Sherm Lollar's number is.
What number was Sherm Lollar?
It looked like there was something else there too, but erased.
He notably wore number 10 with the White Sox. So
maybe the kid wanted to write 5 plus 5.
Yeah. Yeah,
that was it. That was interesting. I just, I think that was a gift. I can't remember if that was from my buddy Mookie, but someone gave me that.
Yeah.
And then we've got his 58. A lot of people, they look at the 58 and aren't fans of it. I love the 58 set, and then I just got 2 of them. So
I mean, I just said my favorite set from I didn't say my favorite set, but it is my favorite set from the 50s is 54. The green and red and backgrounds really pop. 58 is just a smaller version of it, and I love 58 for that reason.
Yep, I love it. I love the colors. I'm a big 58, 59 guy because of the colors. I think the colors on 59 are phenomenal too.
I agree.
So this is just a beautiful, beautiful representation of the red. I'm a red background guy. Those are my favorite cards. So like the 58 K line is one of my favorite K lines because it's just the red background. And then lastly, you showed an early win, 63 post, and I've got the Sherm 63. So
there we go.
Yeah, blank back, but teammates there. I think I have the win. Didn't have the foresight to look that up too. That was a great idea, getting his teammates. Yeah, so just very cool, right?
Yep. So
blank backs, everybody knows, cereal boxes, cut them out, do your thing. But yeah, and that's it. A dozen cards or so of them, and I don't have much of his 60 stuff because he went to 60. I thought I had his 60, but I couldn't find it. If I do have it, it's buried somewhere.
Yeah.
I've got a buddy of mine, Mitchell, White Sox fan card collector. He's got a channel where he just completed the Diamond Star set. I gifted him. I had a 56 Sherm, and I gifted him that. So I'm going to go get another one at one point in time. But I'll complete his player run, his base run, because it's easy and it's cheap. So
I was just going to ask if that's going to be a goal of yours to complete that.
Yeah, I could probably do that. That's something you could do. Dollar box diving at Strongsville/Independence.
Yep.
I don't have many to go, so I could write them down, bring them, and spend $20 and finish the run. So yeah, that's actually I wasn't thinking about that till just now. Yeah, that'll happen.
There we go.
When I'm done with my last $40, I'll go look for Sherm.
I love it. Now, does he have any Bowman?
He does. Well, he does actually. So that now, come to think of it, yeah, obviously he's got his 50, which is his rookie.
Oh, true.
And he does,
true.
yeah. So, but he has 51 and 52, I believe. I don't know. Oh yeah, he's got a 53 color too. Yeah, so that'll get a little pricier.
Yeah, maybe.
But still not crazy. You could probably complete that in a day of just, like maybe I'll need $50 to complete it or something like that. So,
right.
But yeah.
The collection for Sherm started just because you're a White Sox fan, and you kind of were looking for some historically important person to collect.
Yeah, so basically when I started, I should say, back into vintage right before the pandemic, I had ideas in my head of how I was going to collect and what I wanted to collect, and I was figuring out that there are players out there that are worth collecting that people aren't giving them the time of day beyond the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
And I have no problem with that. 90% of what I collect is Hall of Famers, right? So I'm not bagging on it. But if I go to a local show and I bring $50 and I come away with 4 Sherm Lollars and a couple Billy Pierces, who is another White Sox player, I'm good with that. So they ended up becoming, hey, these are my non-Hall of Fame guys, right? So I started really digging into them, learning about them. And I think, there's a lot of people in our community who are starting to do that more, right? I mean, we can't spend all of our money on cards. And as much as I'd love to have DiMaggio and Gehrig and Ruth and Ty Cobb and all of that stuff, I want it all. There's a budget. So to keep it fun, this is a great way to keep it fun.
Yeah.
And learn, right? So we're sitting here having a great conversation about a player who's probably forgotten by most, but
or not even known to forget.
Right. So put them out in the forefront there, learn about them. A little bit of history. And I'm not much of a learning channel. I just kind of hang out. You're an awesome learning channel, so you educate people, and I think that's phenomenal. So
I appreciate that. I mean, this is the perfect example of what this series is supposed to be about. Collecting what you like. And Sherm Lollar's off the beaten path, and it gives people a chance to like you just said, learn about him, and it might spark someone else. I'm going to go either start a Sherm Lollar collection, or I'm going to go look at the lesser known Hall of Great players that are part of my franchise that I like.
Right.
So that is awesome. Do you have any? Do you have any Sherm Lollar autographs that you might want to add?
I do not, and I'm not a huge autograph guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would, because again, we're talking about, I really enjoy collecting him. I enjoy his story. We didn't get too deep into his personal life. I didn't dig too deep. I think by most accounts from the research I was doing, he was a pretty quiet and conservative guy and just kind of went about his business.
Yep.
And
true catcher.
Those are the players I respect, like Charlie Gehringer and K-Line and a Sherm Lollar were just, resolute in what they were doing, quiet and handled their business. And I dig that.
You just put Sherm Lollar in the same conversation as Gehringer.
I know. Personality-wise.
Yeah.
I mean, personality-wise, I know that's quite a stretch.
I'm going to clip that part and put that as a short on my channel.
Right. All the Detroit fans will be losing their mind.
Yeah,
going,
exactly.
An autograph, sure. I mean, he wouldn't be. Some of the many bazillion projects I have in mind is I have an autographed Minnie Minoso card. I wanted an Ellie Fox, and I want an Aparicio. Ideally, it'd be cool to get a Sherm and a Billy Pierce. Oh, actually, I have a Billy Pierce. I have an autographed Billy Pierce card. So
nice.
Sherm, Nelly, and Aparicio, and that would cover like the 50s greats for me of the organization that I enjoy collecting, which is the White Sox. So
very nice. One more question. Who do you think was harder for him to catch? Satchel Paige, Bob Feller, with their speed, or Wilhelm with his knuckleball and stuff?
It's got to be Wilhelm, right? I mean, we were kind of pre-talking about this. If with the speed of Feller and the speed of Page, where it's going, and if they can locate it well enough, you're good to go.
Yeah.
That knuckleballer comes off of Wilhelm's hand. You have no idea where the thing's going to end up half the time. So by no stretch of the imagination do I think Dwight Wilhelm was a better pitcher than Satchel or Fowler.
No.
But I just think knuckleballers and the junk throwers are harder to catch.
So my grandpa was a knuckleball southpaw, and my dad was born way later in my grandpa's life, but still got a chance to experience an older knuckleball. And when they would play catch, he would break it out, and I guess my dad said it was awful to play catch with him.
Right, you just have no idea where it's going. Right. It could be in the dirt, and the release point, everything's the same. If you're really good every time, it's in the dirt 1 minute, and then 1 minute it's at your head, and it's just it's amazing. There's an art to it. There's far less of that in the game now, but man, when you get to see a good knuckleballer, and that's a lot of fun. I'm trying to think of who are the good ones, the recent
Tim
ones.
Wakefield.
Who?
Tim Wakefield.
Wakefield was one. There's another guy on
RJ or
RJ, yeah.
R.A. Dickey.
R.A. Dickey, yes,
yep.
That's who I was thinking of. He threw a little bit of junk, and then beyond that, you're talking Charlie Huff. Didn't he throw the knuckler?
I'm not.
But that's before I was young.
Yeah.
Then, right. So that's before.
Necro.
Necro, yeah,
right.
Obviously Necro, right. Ooh, but Billy will be mad if we don't mention that.
Exactly. Yeah, I was just having a conversation with someone about pitching recently, and this is kind of off topic, but did you see the Guardians pitcher the other day, Cam Shalke?
No.
He is a southpaw and conventional pitcher. In the same at bat, he started off submarine. I'm sorry, not southpaw. He's a submarine and conventional.
Okay.
Started off submarine first pitch, came back second pitch with off-speed conventional, then came third pitch submarine high out of the zone. Then I think the count was 2-1 at that point. I think it was 1-2. Then he came back last pitch. Submarine breaking ball I think he just rose. I think it's just a riser. Submarine riser that he struck the guy out with, and never topped 90. Never, he's not a flamethrower. He just changed the eye level of the pitcher, changed the release point, and used different pitches. He essentially has, I think, 6 to 8 pitches because of where they come out. Of
where they're coming from.
Right.
So, I mean, just think about that. So, as a submarine, you're watching the ball coming up, and then the very next pitch, you're watching it coming down or coming off the side as a conventional pitcher. It's coming from all angles, depending on what he's doing.
And he has a telltale. He'll duck his head to get some power on his submarine, which is, understandable, but the hitter still only has a split second to react to realize, that's a submarine pitch coming. I love that. I hope we get back more to the Greg Maddux style Rembrandt, hitting your spot type pitching versus the flamethrower stuff we've seen recently. Pitching has gotten boring to me, and I want to see more change your arm slot. I want to see. I think. Was it Cueto? Johnny Cueto did that
Johnny
quite
Cueto.
a bit. Yep.
With his hesitation. And
yeah. Who's the
Cortez?
Cortez. Yep.
Cortez
I hate him, but he's he's good with that. So I hope we get back to that in baseball.
Oh, it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. I feel the same way. It's kind of become vanilla and bland, and cybermetrics have really limited what a pitcher's doing now. So to get that funkiness into it once in a while, it's a lot of fun.
Yep, and hopefully maybe it saves some arms, and we can see pitchers get back to throwing, way more innings and have a chance at getting back to 300 wins and complete games and all that stuff. But anyways, well, Jason, anything else you want to add about Sherm?
No, I just, I thought, I don't go real deep dive on him. I just thought it was fun to kind of rattle off some stats, some of the things that he's done. Maybe catch the interest of others who, if you are, I'm all about budget. That's always my thing. We all want to collect, but we want to collect wisely. So, this is a route for people to go. And if it's not Sherm Lollar, like you said, Kyle, maybe you dig into your franchise and you find one or two guys that you really find interesting, and this is a way to go. So as much as I like Sherman, we rattled off some stats and a little bit about his life. I always bring it back to this is a great way to collect if you're budget conscious and you just want to have fun with it.
Agreed. Well, I really appreciate you coming on this. You since I got back into YouTube, you have been instrumental in introducing me to people and helping me make more connections. So I really appreciate all of that, and I'm honored to have you on as a guest of goat collecting. So.
That's awesome. I appreciate the kind words, my friend. I'm just a knucklehead that collects cards and wants to hang out with people. So that's, you want to meet more people, just we'll meet more people. I just love connecting people and talking cards. That's what we do. I love it.
Well, I'm going to see you, I hope, in September when I come to Chicago for work.
And, you know what? And you'll see me before then in April, right?
That is very true. Yeah, I forgot about Independence. That's
so we'll definitely be doing some hanging out. I'm certain of that.
Yep, agreed. So excellent. Well, thank you very much again for sharing your Sherm Lollar collection and opening my eyes to a great player. And until next time, live free, dream big.